Candace, did we decide May 10th today? Because that was our final one.
Yes.
Okay, I was just double checking because I was like, gonna say that, and I'm just like, I didn't bring my actual books that I wrote it down in. Did it die again?
I'm
Oh.
battery to run out.
Dude, my battery like lasts not long at all. Like it dies very fast. Like even if you're not messing with it, like it's dead within a couple days.
They call me by surprise this afternoon.
There you go. I mean, it's more of I just do it just because I follow along with like our stuff. But that's just me.
The April 14th, 2025 council meeting has been called to order at 7 p.m. May I get roll call?
Mayor Candace Machado,
Here.
Councilmember Daisha Edwards,
Here.
Councilmember Greg Busbig.
Here.
Councilmember Alana Vino.
Here.
Councilmember Ernie Blackford.
Here.
Town Attorney Scott Murray.
Here.
Town Engineer Shane Porter.
Here.
Town Treasurer Lexi Erickson.
Here.
Chief of Police Mike Thompson.
Here.
Fire Chief Leo Malson.
Here.
Public Works Director Robert Llewellyn.
Here.
Town Clerk Janelle Underwood, and the rest of the citizens.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
All motion?
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Line item 1, consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Line item A, approval of minutes for regular meeting March 24, 2025. Line item B, approval of business licenses All Solar M&M Roofing, Ramshorn Construction, Skyline Construction, and line item C, approval of the bills.
I move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Line item 2, public comments. Do I have public comments this evening? Yes, ma'am. Will you come up to the podium? You will have 3 minutes to speak. We do require that everybody be respectful when they're up here talking to us. We'll respect you as you respect us. 3 minutes on the clock. And if you could go ahead and state your name and why you're here, that would also be wonderful as well.
Yes, ma'am. My name's Ashley Taylor, and I'm here to try to figure out if Wild Blown Glass can have approval for their business. Last time we were here, there was a lot of things said that I wasn't paying my taxes on another business and things of that nature when that is incorrect. And I have proof of all of that. I'm just trying to figure out if I can open my business over here. We've been working on this for months. I'm just trying to figure out what I can do.
And is there anything that you would like to present to us,
Yes.
if you have things to present to council?
I didn't have a chance to make everybody a single copy. But so on this first one here, this is the Wild Blown Glass, all of its state taxes that have been paid, all of it's up to date, everything, and along with Elias LLC. Again, it's not administratively dissolved like I explained last time. I was going through a proceeding with LegalZoom and fighting that. That has been fixed. So there's no issues. I'm in good standing. My taxes are paid and I do have proof of that.
I think this would be something Scott needs to look
Um,
over and double check.
just in, Elias alone, I paid over $140,000 in taxes in the last year. So, do you need this one as well?
I'll pass them down. Thank you, hon.
And is there anything additional that you would like to share while we're looking for everything?
Yeah, so, I know that my business was, administratively dissolved and things of that nature, and it got brought up. But I would like to make the simple fact that I'm not the only one that has been in bad juju with the state. My competitor, Dr. Chronics, the one that, came up and spoke last time, he's been administratively dissolved 4 times in owning their business and delinquents. And, I don't understand why it was, brought up that way, but it happened to them as well. It's not uncommon. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you, and we'll go ahead and get these back to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Additional public comments? Sir, if you'll come up here, if you'll state your name, and again, you'll have 3 minutes on the clock. We do ask that everybody be respectful while they're up here.
Hello, I'm Cielo Guerra. I'm with Dr. Chronics. We were dissolved in our early days before we even had a store. It's just something that happened. We've been in good standing for a long time. But I just wanted to raise some more awareness about the company Wyoming Blown Glass. I just want to make a point that changing the name from Wyoming Blown Glass, Forbidden Leaf, however, it's the same operation. It's the same people who own it. And I do just want to be clear that, the true owner of it is Eric Lee Stowe. He's a convicted felon. He has drug charges, and it's really weird that they keep trying to push away the fact that Eric does own it. The only reason that we knew that Forbidden Leaf was there was the moment that they were working on there. We walked in there and we're like, hey, what's going on? He was like, oh, hey, I'm Eric with Forbidden Leaf. We're opening a smoke shop. And that was the first day that they were in there. We were there. So he obviously owns it. Dodging it is just a little weird. Since the last council meeting, they have retaliated against us on social media platforms. Directly after the meeting, there was anonymous online posts calling us snitches, telling people not to support our business, and it's just not really how a legitimate business should be treated for scrutiny. It's gotten worse. About a week ago, a customer came in and they let us know that they were grinding up mushrooms and putting them into capsule containers and selling them. Again, we turned in mushrooms to the chief of police prior. Now it seems that they're trying to dodge it by crushing them up and putting them in pills. That's just what I was told from somebody a week ago who came into my store. This isn't about glass. It's not about hemp. It's not about fair competition. It's just these guys aren't playing by the books. They make us look bad. They make everybody look bad. And they're just trying to come into Evansville using loopholes, lies, and paperwork to cover their tracks. I just urge you guys not to be fooled by the name changes, the distractions. Eric is still running it. They're still selling illegal substances, and they're still a danger to the community. I urge the council to deny their license and protect the town against illegal companies like this. Thank you.
Additional public comments, sir. I believe you had your hand up. If you could come up to the podium, say your name, and also you'll have 3 minutes on the clock, and if you can be respectful as well.
I'll do that.
Thank you.
Gene Williams, I live at 353 Blackmore Road. I had a few issues to talk about, but I guess the main one for right now is because of the upcoming melting and the rain we might be getting is the widening of the ditch on the west side of Blackmore Road. If they've had any thoughts about it or talked about it.
Where's Robert at?
He's in the back line. and backup
Hey,
places.
Robert, can I have you come up just for a second? Looking for my Public Works Director.
Yeah, he mentioned they got a piece of equipment that might be helpful in mitigating it.
So the plan for this spring is to get the scraper that we have for the front of the skid steer and run a path down each side of the ditch.
It's just the west side that really needs it.
And do we have a time frame of when that's gonna happen?
I was hoping to get to it after we complete jetting.
You said that was on Blackmore?
Yeah, Blackmore Road, from Mesa down to the intersection.
So once we get through jetting, we'll be taking care of that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
All right. It's a quick 3 minutes.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Additional public comments. Yes, ma'am, if you'll come back up. If you can restate your name for us, even though you were just up here.
Again, I'm Ashley Taylor. So everybody keeps saying that my boyfriend Eric runs and owns this business, and that is incorrect. I started this business when I was actually split up from Eric. He's my boyfriend. He's my main manager. Of course, he's, there all the time. We're in a relationship together. He is not a business owner and never has been. So that keeps being dragged on. It's hard for me to keep going and reiterating the same things. I have had no issues with legalities of officers coming to talk to me about products, about QR codes, about the incident apparently was handed over to the chief. That was never discussed of any nature by anybody. I have never once had any problems with, again, my QR codes, my packaging, my prices, what I sell. And it's just the fact that now that I'm trying to move over to Evansville and expand, Dr. Chronics that sells the exact same products we do. You can look it up on their website. They do have it on there as well. You can go into their store. You'll see the same products, same brands that we carry. So if I'm so unsafe for the community, that would mean he is as well. And it's just blowing my mind that I can't just put my business in. I didn't change anything. It's just a business. So,
Thank you.
Yep.
Additional public comments? Are there additional public comments? Yes, ma'am, if you can come up to the podium, if you could state your name, and also you'll have 3 minutes on the clock, and as a reminder, please be respectful as you're up here.
My name is Tina Marie Carter. I am also an owner of Dr. Chronics. I own 307 IEP, which is a painting company, and I'm also the GM of the American in Casper. We have been in business for about 2 years. We moved to Evansville July of last year as we were just going into our year in Evansville. We are a major competitor, a major player in the lawsuit against the state of Wyoming concerning the hemp bill of 2018, concerning the products that are legal and not legal in the state of Wyoming. We have a federal and a state attorney that oversees our operations to ensure that we are in compliance with all state laws and federal laws. The reason we are going against Wyoming blown glass, or per se forbidden leaf, is because they are selling illicit drugs, and it's known all over Casper. It's known we've had things turned into us. We've had text messages concerning these illicit, illegal drugs coming to our actual business phone, which we did turn in. Why did we turn in? Not because we snitched, because we are a business that is a legal business in the state of Wyoming and under the laws and state and federal laws of this of Wyoming. We are also part of the lawsuit. So we want, when one bad actor comes into the community and provides these products illegally to our community, which have been has injured and made people ill and sick, including the mushrooms. It's bad for our community, and it's also bad for the state, which, in the hemp bill, hemp is perceived to be a $60 billion industry. That's why things are moving in different ways in different states. We need to, bad actors come in and they make everybody else have a sour taste in their mouth for these kind of businesses that sell these kind of products, because you don't know what's really going on behind closed doors. Our shops, everything we have is online for complete transparency. You cannot come into our shop and say, well, can I get something from the back room? This is known for this shop, Forbidden Leaf. It's known to be selling these drugs, and we have had evidence that we have turned in, because if DCI goes and starts investigating them, they see a text message to our shop, our business, that does not involve us, then that makes us look bad. So of course, we may snitch or provide have documentation with the chief of police showing that we're not involved in this. We don't want nothing to do with that. There is laws and rules in state and federal laws provided for these products that we sell.
Time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't time it, so.
No, you're just fine. We are. Would anybody else like to come up for public comments right now? Sir, if you can come up to the podium, state your name, and you'll have 3 minutes on the clock. And as a reminder,
My name
be respectful.
is Mitch Whaley, and I work for Ashley. And I live in Evansville and have for 16 years. And I just don't see what the issue is with having another smoke shop. Really, there's lots of bars out here, so I just think it'd be fair to let her have it.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Additional comments from the audience? Yes, if you'd come up to the podium, state your name. You'll have 3 minutes on the clock, and as a reminder, please be respectful.
My name is Jen Zepp. I've known Ashley since I moved here about 4 years ago. She's an upstanding member of community. Eric is an upstanding member as well. He has a jaded past. We all have pasts. That's one thing that everybody does need to remember. The one thing I'm hearing up here as I listen to everybody is a whole lot of accusations based on hearsay. There's been no proof, nothing shown against Ashley, anything proving that Eric is anything more than basically a manager and somebody that does maintenance in her shops. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. She is the sole owner. She's always been the sole owner of any of her shops. And as it stands right now, Evansville is currently holding a monopoly for a vape shop. We have 2 bars in Evansville. What is wrong with having competition on another vape shop in the store or in Evansville? I see nothing wrong with that. Not to mention the fact that it's going to create more jobs. We're going to have people in Evansville that can have walking distance to those jobs. Again, after we had what happened with Come and Go closing down, people had those jobs. That's not happening. Not only is it people coming from Evansville, we also have people that go to Butch's and to Taylor's that come from Mills, Casper, and surrounding areas. So it's not just Evansville that's going to benefit from it. You're going to get tax money from Casper people, Mills, and everything else. So I think it's only fair to give Ashley the shot that she so rightfully deserves.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any additional public comments? Last call for public comments. Yes, sir? If you'll come up, state your name, even though we know your
You
name.
probably know who I am.
Yes,
I'll change the subject a little bit, okay?
thank you.
My name is Phil Gerke, and I live at 644 Eagle Trail in Evansville. Just a quick comment on the conversation that's been going on. To me, it's a little creepy that people are going around spying on each other and all this other stuff. And I guess as long as they're not doing anything illegal, either business, I don't see what the problem is. Personally, and I have no wish one way or the other, never been in one of those shops, probably will never be in one of those shops. But anyway, it just seemed kind of weird. I got a few things I just want to go over real quick. While I was on the council, I went around last summer and made a list of all the potholes and cracks in the roads and stuff that, and none of them I know it got really hot, so none of them were fixed, but I think that kind of needs to be a priority. They didn't go away, they're still here. And as we get the changes in weather that we get in Wyoming, they're just gonna keep getting worse. But anyway, I'll just give this to Janelle, and you can keep that. I've got other ones. I just got back from Arizona, and I was watching on TV, watching the deals, and one of the things that I noticed, I'm pretty sure that George Washington's been dead for over 200 years. And I think it would be in really good taste if we put a picture of our current governor and our current president up there instead of somebody that was president 200 years ago. I just think that would be in good taste, no matter which party they belong to. I don't think it really matters, and they could be changed out at each election. And I just think that that's something that would be in good taste. The other thing, I know you guys are going to talk about the meeting time tonight. One of the things that I have seen over the time that I was on the council and stuff, some of the comments that were made where the mayor had asked people to come into meetings and stuff, and their problem was getting here at 7. To get here at 6 is going to be impossible. I understand the reason for 6 is so, the chiefs and the public directors and our public works and everybody else can get home in a decent hour, and they probably don't have to go home and then come back. I do kind of understand that, but I think some careful consideration ought to be given to what's good for the public. As a council person, we got paid to be here, and that was part of the commitment that we made. And I don't know, 6 just doesn't seem like a really good time to me. And one of the last thing, and this is just a question, does public behavior, is that covered under the code of ethics that was passed?
The code of ethics was specific for
The council, I understand that, but does that cover when the council stuff is out in public?
The code of ethics is specific for the council members, not for the public specifically.
I know, I understand that, but when you're out in public representing the town.
So there is a section in the code of ethics that does state about professional behavior in regards to being out in the public. Yes,
Okay.
that part is in there, yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that was my question.
Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
thanks.
Last call for public comments. Did I see one more hand go up? Yes, ma'am. If you'll come back up for a second time, I'll need you to restate your name, and then after this, we'll be closing this public comment section.
My name is Tina Marie Carter. I'd like to just say, I think it's very frustrating for a company. Competition is competition. I have a hotel and I have 2 hotels right next to me. It's a competition. Whoever the better one is gets the rooms. Whoever's cleaner, whoever provides better service gets the clean room. Same with my painting company. Whoever provides the right services and gives the right guest satisfaction to my clients, that's who's going to get the job. That's the better prices, of course. Competition is competition, and you can have a vape store right next to a vape store. This is not about competition. This is about the rights and wrongs of companies in this town running and providing products to our citizens in not only Evansville, but in Casper and so on and so forth. We are also at Mills. In saying that, the last time we were here, Wyoming Blown Glass claimed to have the McKinley Street store on North McKinley. That was she claimed her store was. In September of last year, late into September, that store was actually called Empire, and it did have a different owner. His partner was Eric Stowe. Why they are not giving you this information is beyond me. The owner of Empire called us and said, I'm dissolving this partnership. I'm leaving. Will you buy me out? He wanted us to buy his name, entity, and everything. We did not choose to do that. We wanted to stay with our own entity, didn't want to add another entity. So we bought his products and moved them to open our new store. why are the Wyoming Blown Glass was originally right after they were dissolved for Forbidden Leaf in 2022. Wyoming Blown Glass got their licensing, and they were located at 1717 East Yellowstone Highway in Casper. Okay, so you go over to the vape shop that she claims is hers and not ran, and she owns, which was partnerships with Eric Stowe. It's now just a bland name called Vape Shop. There's no entity to it. So I'm not quite sure why we're running around saying, this is that, this is that. The fact of the matter is it's about the products and keeping the integrity of the state laws and the federal laws, especially coming into Wyoming, deciding on which direction we're going to go with these shops, whether we can legalize, not legalize, what's going to be legal, what's not going to be legal. Stores that are doing illegal actions, and they say there's no evidence. There's plenty of evidence that we have provided, considering the entirety of this entity or this shop or whoever, all the different names of the shop. It's still a fact. And the fact is that when you're not running a proper business, you should be transparent. You should not get a shop on the corner and immediately put up all mirrors to hide whatever you can't see inside. She claims to be selling pizza, kratom, and vapes along with ice cream. There has not been really any truth or consistency behind the statements that the owner or owners have said about the shop. So I think we really need to think about that, because moving forward, if we want to be part of the hemp bill or whatever the laws are, or the legalization of weed, we're going to have to put certain things in place to ensure that the laws are being followed, everything's being followed, and that we're doing the proper procedures according to federal and state laws. And that's all I have to say. Thank you. I would urge you not to give the license. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, the public comment section is closed.
I just had one of just announcement on the Evansville Community Garden. We decided that we were going to do our plant day where we would be turning soil and planting seeds. That will be May 10th at 10 a.m. If people want to come down and plant or come down and help, bring shovels, bring your gloves. Thanks. That was it.
Thank you. Public comments are now closed. Line item 3, replat 1-2025, replat to create Anadarko number 1 and resolution number 2 -2025.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. I'll give the staff report. You'll hear a lot from me tonight. I got quite a bit here. So to start off with, this is a replat to create the Anadarko number 1 addition to the town of Evansville. Background is Anadarko E&P Onshore LLC is the owner of lots 10, 11, and 12 of the Coal Creek Industrial Park. The owner has submitted the replat application to replat lot 10 to eliminate the 30-foot wide railroad right-of-way across the western edge of lot 10. The railroad right-of-way was originally platted to provide a right-of-way for a future spur to serve lots 7, 8, 9, and 10. However, the railroad right-of-way was vacated further to the south through a prior replat on lots 7, 8, and 9. And so there's no longer access to lot 10 for any kind of spur because it's been vacated throughout. So they're just trying to, basically the whole purpose of the replat is just to vacate that railroad right-of-way. The property is currently zoned heavy industrial and will remain heavy industrial. The plat meets the minimum lot size requirement and other requirements for the heavy industrial zoning. Notifications were sent to utility providers on March 21st, 2025, and no comments were received. Notifications were provided to town staff on March 21st, 2025. Staff replied that they did not have any issues with the replat. Paul Svensson, our professional land surveyor with WLC, reviewed the plat. He had several comments that were provided back to the applicant, and all those comments have been satisfactorily addressed. So at the April 9th, 2025, last week, the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting met. The commission forwarded a due pass recommendation to the town council for resolution 2-2025, approving the replat creating Anadarko number 1 addition to the town of Evansville. Recommendation is that the staff finds the replat complies with the requirements of the town subdivision regulations and recommends the council adopt resolution 2-2025 approving the replat creating Anadarko number 1 addition to the town of Evansville subject to the following requirements. I'm not going to read those. It's basically just surveying requirements that the corners are put in properly and that a digital drawing file be provided so we can update the county GIS mapping. So before you is resolution 2-2025 to approve the replat. I believe there is a representative from the owner, I think maybe from the contractor here tonight that could probably, I don't know if they can answer many questions on the replat, but I could try to help if you guys have questions and anything you have, I guess. So.
All right, do I have a motion to approve resolution number 2-2025?
Would you like me to read that by title?
Yes, please.
Resolution 2-2025 is a resolution approving a plat to create the Anadarko number 1 addition to the town of Evansville. It's brought before you tonight for approval.
Thank you, Ms. Janelle. All right, now the motion.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion or any questions for Sir back there?
Oh, you covered them.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Line item 4, site plan 1-2025, site plan for lot 1, Anadarko number 1, addition and resolution number 2-2025.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council again. So on the lot that was just created by replat, Anadarko is proposing to install or construct a 15,072 square foot office warehouse building. So some background, Anadarko E&P Onshore LLC is the owner of lot 1 of the Anadarko number 1 addition to the town of Evansville. The applicant has submitted a site plan application to construct a 15,072 square foot office warehouse building to be located on that lot. Additionally, site work will be performed, which will include site grading, installation of asphalt, concrete, and gravel surfacing, installation of utilities, landscaping, and other miscellaneous site improvements. The total site area is 5.827 acres. Property is currently zoned heavy industrial, which allows for office warehouse space as a permitted use. Notifications were sent to utility providers on March 21st. No comments were received. Notifications were provided to the town of Evansville staff members on March 21st, 2025. Fire Chief Leo Malson had several comments. There's 8 comments there provided by Leo. Those are all specific to the sprinkler or fire protection system if it needs one. So the building will be classified by the county and may or may not need a sprinkler system. If it does, those items 1 through 8 are comments that will be addressed through Leo. Town engineer Shane Porter had the following comments that the applicant should prepare or must prepare a stormwater pollution prevention plan for the project and deliver a copy to the town. That has been completed and submitted. All water and sewer tap fees shall be paid to the town prior to issuance of building permits. If the applicant intends to utilize town of Evansville for trash collection, the trash receptacle enclosure shall be designed to accommodate 1 or multiple 3-yard side load receptacles that'll be accessible by the town. Just general comments. So landscaping, Evansville zoning ordinance requires a total of 4% landscaping for sites of 1 acre or more in size in industrial zoning. The site is approximately 5.83 acres, which equates to required landscaping of 10,115 square feet. The proposed landscaped area is 14,264 square feet, so it's approximately 5.6% of the site. So the landscape requirement is met. Parking, site plan provides for 34 standard and 2 handicapped. The required parking spaces as determined by the town code is 35, so they meet that minimum parking. Lighting will be building wall pack lighting. The owner shall ensure that the excessive light does not illuminate past the property line onto adjacent lots. Signage is a monument sign at the entrance on Santa Fe Circle. Fencing, they do show a perimeter fence around the site. Just to note that the fencing shall not exceed 7 feet in height. So at the Planning and Zoning Commission last week on April 9th. The commission forwarded a due pass recommendation to the town council for resolution 3-2025, approving the site plan to construct a 15,072 square foot office warehouse building on lot 1 of the Anadarko number 1 edition, located at 16729 Santa Fe Circle, with the following recommendations: that prior to obtaining a building permit, owner signs a site plan agreement, which will be recorded with the Natrona County Clerk's office, stating that all the items that are listed in the site plan will be completed. Applicant must prepare a stormwater pollution prevention plan, which they have done, and I have a copy of. That the owner obtain all required building permits and complies with the Evansville Code and inspection requirements. And then lastly, that prior to issuance of CO, all requirements shall be completed to the satisfaction of the town planner, town engineer, public works director, fire inspector, and building inspector. So that's my staff report.
Mouthful.
We do have, so you have before you resolution 3-2025 to approval of the site plan. We also have the site plan agreement. It has been provided back with their signature on it. So we have that for approval tonight as well.
So, Madam Mayor, Council, brought before you tonight is Resolution 3-2025. This is a resolution approving site plan to construct 15,072 square foot office warehouse building along with site work improvements at 6725 Santa Fe Circle, Town of Evansville, Natrona County, Wyoming. And it has the conditions listed that Engineer Porter had read off in his report, as well as the site plan authorization for the mayor to execute that site plan.
Do I have a motion to approve 3-2025?
Full motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Line item 5, Melissa Bilby, Hub International Employee Benefits. Melissa, did I say your last name correctly? You did. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. So I know that we have distributed some packets a couple weeks ago regarding the consulting of the plan. So just kind of want to touch a little bit about, what we went through and the process, and then kind of open it up for comments and let you know kind of what we've researched. So going through the consulting process, part of your plan is called a level funded product. So basically, you're paying claims and you're also paying a fee to be reinsured over and above a certain dollar amount. So the first attachment in here is basically an aggregate statement that shows month to month the claims that have come through and then your fixed cost. So I just want to focus on the claims funding as column 2. That's what the town of Evansville paid in claims, $306,410.08. Now this is prior to March's claims being processed and coming out of that. And then your cumulative claim payments were $334,753. If you look at column 5, the surplus, if you run well, you get a refund or a surplus that's left over. That surplus would come back to the town on the 4th month after you renew. You can kind of see June of 24, we actually ran out of surplus, and due to the large claims, it's continued that process throughout. So that's what the first one shows. So it shows you at 109% loss ratio on your claims for the year so far. Okay, just a few of the windows into the last 12 months. So this is going to be on a rolling 12-month basis. So this is just kind of the highlights that we look at. You had 32 enrolled employees, 61 dependents on the plan with an average age of 44. Per employee per month claim spend just for claims was $706. Catastrophic claims made up 64.8% of your plan spend this last year. And in the last 12 months, we had 7 individuals exceeding $25,000, which is your specific deductible amount as a group. So that means everything up to $25,000, you guys are paying out of that claims fund. Everything over the insurance carrier pays. Average office visit cost went up by 24%. I think the main thing on here that I want to focus on, claims were not as high as the previous year, but the costs were higher. So kind of like everything else that we're faced with in our communities today is the cost of care is going up. So even though we're having not as high, basically, or as many claims, we're having higher cost claims right now, or the cost of care has increased. Surgery costs increased by 38%. We had Cigna as your network. So we had 91.5% utilize the network. And then your emergency room care had increased by 30%, along with the cost of 19% of just that care alone. So in the last rolling 12 months prior to March, $517,540 were spent on claims. So that kind of goes back a little bit into the previous year. Prescription drugs are one of the leading costs that we're seeing in all plans climbing. Your top 3 scripts were not as bad as some that we've seen. So 1,335, 1,107, and 902. That's a per month cost for those scripts. Hot topics along weight loss, also gene therapy drugs. So when I say these aren't really high cost drugs, the gene therapy drugs are supposed to be cures they've come out with. Those drugs are in the $1 million range. So 2.2, $4.4 million. So we do have a protection with Cigna's plan on those gene therapy drugs that carves those out, so that if you did ever have one hit your plan, it's not going to affect your claims fund. So that is a protection we have in there. So since May, Cigna has picked up $91,329 over the specific deductible and paid that. So that's just kind of a quick overview of what the plan has looked like the last 12 months. You do have virtual healthcare available too, MD Live. We haven't seen high participation in there. We did do a big drive, but we are seeing, we saw 8 urgent care. This is actually a way, if you can't get into your doctor, you can actually have care right away at your fingertips. If you're traveling, if you're on the road, you can call in if you're not feeling well. They will see you. They will also tell you if you need to see a doctor, and they can't call something in for you. But it is one of the key features, I think, that we've seen, because it's harder and harder to get into our primary care physicians. So I think that's been a huge cost saver. The next page is a marketing list. This is all the markets that we went to. So you'll see over here the responses from those markets, and the ones that quoted, the ones that declined. Some declined due to municipalities in Wyoming, so United Healthcare level funded. Some require health applications, so even if they gave us a quote, you would have to go through health underwriting, make sure everybody was approved, and the rates would get approved. So kind of gives you an idea of all of the carriers we went to. And then we provided the spreadsheets for you. So your renewal increase started out at 16%. And I just want to note here, because your guys' plan is, and I tell the mayor and Janelle every year how good of a program that you guys offer with the $750 deductible for your choice plan, and then your base plan at $2,000. It's really your out-of-pockets and stuff. The average out-of-pocket in the state of Wyoming is $9,150 for a single individual. Both of your plans, choice plan has a $2,250 out-of-pocket total for a single individual, and $4,000 on the other plan. So if you have a catastrophic claim, all of your copays, everything, and your deductible are included in that. So really, really strong plan that you offer to your participants, and it's very, very nice program. It started at 16%. We were able to negotiate a 13% to come down to 13. So we ended up at the appealed renewal over here with Cigna with the same plan designs you have today in place. Okay. And then compared to the options, Mountain Health Co-op, they have, you can kind of see their out-of-pockets are significantly higher. Their plan designs and deductibles are higher. So you're comparing, a $2,250 out of pocket to $6,500 out of pocket for single, and a $9,000 versus a $2,000 or $4,000. So significantly different, and it was at 11%. Then you have Trustmark. Trustmark is the one that would require applications to be filled out and submitted to underwriting for approval. So the rates they gave us are just their base rates before that happened. And then United Healthcare provided us with a fully insured quote, and they were at a 20% higher than we currently have. So we did have Associated Employers. That is a multiple employer welfare arrangement. It's very much like FAM or WEBT. So what it is many employers that get together and purchase insurance underneath these trusts. They came in at 7% lower. But basically they're controlled, you're controlling your claims now, and it affects your rates. If you were on a program like this, the whole trust would control those rates. And if there was a surplus, you would not get it back. It would be reinvested into that trust. So that would be the main difference with this last program. And then we did market, the vision is with VSP. Pretty much everybody rents the VSP network. So you can see there was a slight increase from $306.92 to $334.36 on the vision. But it's still way lower than the other options that we had to go to. And that is a voluntary benefit that you offer. And then the dental, so we also quoted the dental insurance, and same thing, you did have no increase on that. Actually, we didn't go to market because it was a zero, it was a pass. There was an 8% approximately on the vision, so that makes up 51 cents per employee increase monthly. Life and voluntary short-term disability, there's no increase, and we've negotiated a rate guarantee for you through May 1 of 2028 for those products. So the COBRA administration did increase slightly from $1.25 per employee per month to $1.50. And the consulting fees will go from $7,500 to $8,000 for 25 to 26 plan year. We did look at and talk about the different, as far as discussing, contributions and what you pay. So we just did a breakdown currently of with your current rates that you're basically having the employees pay. The traditional plan right now, the cost to the employee would go up $15.94 a month at the 10% contribution by the employee. And that's basically the difference in what they would pay on a monthly basis. The annual impact with current enrollment to participants would be an additional $1,338.96. Increase on the town would be $1,952.16 annually. So your total impact at the bottom, because your high deductible plan, if you leave it the same, and then you take into consideration the difference in the cost for the traditional plan, added to that is $21,105. For the town, the annual cost to employees would be $11,435. That's all I have. Thank you. Any questions for me regarding the marketing, the different options, different programs out there? It's a lot, I know, but hopefully we got it out to you in time. So if you do think of questions, just get them out and we'll get the answers for you. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Do I have a motion to approve the new 2025 employee benefits?
Also move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Line item 6, ordinance number 4-2025, an ordinance repealing and replacing Town Code 2-2-1 on the second reading.
Madam Mayor and Council, brought before you tonight is ordinance 4-2025. This is an ordinance repealing and replacing Town Code Chapter 2 Administration Section 2-2-1 regular meeting. Essentially, the changes in this would change the time that the Evansville council meetings commence from 7 p.m. to 6 p.m. and it's brought before you tonight on second reading.
Do I have a motion to approve ordinance number 4-2025, an ordinance repealing and replacing Town Code 2-2-1 on the second reading?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Any discussion?
I still think that we should leave it at 7. I mean, when we decided we were gonna come out for this position, we looked at our lives, evaluated our lives, and 7 o'clock is definitely easier with trying to get dinner on the table and dealing with kids and sports and everything else. Definitely 6 o'clock makes things a lot more difficult. But when I decided to come on to this, it was one of those that it was at 7 o'clock.
Any additional discussion?
I also would like to second that 7 o'clock because many times some of the jobs that I have, at times I'm not able to leave early, whether I'm supervising our youth of Natrona County. And so I also would second that to leave it at 7 o'clock so that I can come and be here and be accurate and do what's best with the town and also moving the town forward. I'd like to keep it at 7 o'clock so that we can continue to serve our town. Thank you.
I'd like to see it move to 6 p.m. My reasons are a little more different than personal reasons. I've talked to a lot of residents, citizens, taxpayers that are busy during the day. So at 6 o'clock might work a little easier for them to get in, have dinner done, and get home at a reasonable time. So for the residents and the citizens of the town, I've heard a lot of interest in that moving forward.
Any additional discussion?
As in residents that are gonna show up at the meeting?
Potentially, yes. Yes,
I
I
think
mean, yeah, that would be.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
I
Any opposed?
Aye.
We're at a tie. I'm also going to go ahead and vote for us to move the meeting time to 6 p.m. as well. Motion passes. Line item 7, engineers report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. A few more things to go over tonight. So this next thing on my staff report, or the engineer report that you guys should have in your packet, I wanted to talk about the emergency connection project a little bit more. So we had talked before about trying to secure that funding for that project. We'd lost the ARPA funding and had to try to look at different avenues. So our plan was to go after an MRG, a SLIB MRG grant, which is a mineral royalties grant for 50% of the project, and then go to the SRF funding, the state revolving loan fund for the other 50%. That's the SRF funding actually has a program where if your project ranks high enough, it's considered a loan, but they allow up to 50% principal forgiveness. So it's a 50% forgiveness on your loan. So we were originally trying to get a grant for 50%, the loan for 50, but have half of that loan forgiven. So basically we're a grant at 75%, 25% match, to cover the loan. Well, it turns out when we submitted our application to SRF, they have a primary funding list of projects, then a secondary funding list of projects. The primary funding is available for the principal forgiveness, and the secondary funding is not. So our project landed on the secondary funding list, which means we're eligible for the SRF loan, but would be 100% loan. So we're talking about 50% of the project being grant, 50% would be 478, 415, and then that same amount would be loan, 478, 415 in loan. The SRF loan is a 0.75% interest rate, so a really good interest rate for a 20-year term. But again, it'd be all loan. There's no principal forgiveness. So what for consideration tonight, we don't have the grant either yet. It goes up before SLIB in June. We'll know in June on the grant. But if we get the grant and want to supplement that then with loan, it would be 100% loan. It would be no principal forgiveness. So I don't know if I'm explaining that where you guys are following, but basically we're talking about, does the town want to move forward with a loan of $478,415, 20-year term, 0.75% interest? It's roughly $25,000 a year is what the payment would be to cover that project. And we wouldn't do that unless we had the grant to supplement that, but it's still a lot of money in loan also. But we're not finding other sources to fund that type of project. So it's kind of the best we've been able to come up with to secure funding for that project. So. And the decision doesn't have to be made tonight, but it would have to be made pretty soon. They have 3 different timeframes throughout the year when you can actually submit your loan application. The first one was April, so we missed it, and the next one will be July. So we need to decide fairly soon if we want to move forward with the loan. So.
Shannon, correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard you say that we're having a hard time securing funding for these types of projects.
Yeah, there's just not a lot out there for grant opportunities for these type of projects. So.
And so, just for argument's sake, if we weren't going to go ahead and do the loan, then what would happen with the project? Just so everybody is aware of what would happen if we choose to go that direction.
Well, you probably wouldn't be able to cover it probably out of town funds, so the project wouldn't move forward until it might be years down the road before we're able to find some sort of funding for it. I mean, it can take years to come up with those right opportunity comes and it fits for the project and you can get that kind of funding, but it's hard to say. I mean, we've been trying to fund this project since 2014 when we did the original phase.
10, 12 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we haven't had a lot of success in getting this project funded.
And just to clarify, you said it would be 0.75%
It's
interest?
0.75% annual interest rate on a 20-year term.
And just to clarify one other part, we don't currently have any other loans out there right now for the town in terms of projects.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that part.
No. The town has done loans in the past, but it's been quite some time. Yeah.
Additional questions for Mr. Porter?
I have a question for you. Can you repeat what you were saying again? So we would only take the loan out if we were able to get the funding, or can you explain that part of it?
So the total project cost is $478,000 times 2. So total project cost is $956,830 is our estimate. So what we're trying to do is get half of that, $478,415 in a grant, and then the other half would be loan. And the grant goes up in front of SLIB in June, in front of the State Loan Investment Board. So you will know in June whether they award the grant. We would probably have to decide at that point. You don't want to take the grant either if you're not going to get the loan. So you'd have to decide, before you execute the grant agreement, whether you're going to move forward with the other half.
Is the 478 the highest number that SLIB will cover?
No, but the MRG grants are 50-50.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Any additional questions?
You say there's no other grants that's even possible for?
We haven't found any other for this type of project, no.
Any additional questions, discussion? Do we have thoughts?
So this is something I could get behind with approval of the grant. So, yeah, encouraged to move forward with it.
Where would this funding come out of? Like what fund?
Enterprise. Enterprise.
Lexi, can I have you come up to the podium, please? I know.
No, no.
And will you also state your name so everybody in the audience knows who you are, ma'am?
3 minutes too.
Yeah.
3
you have
minutes,
3
3
minutes as
minutes,
well.
okay.
3 minutes.
I'm Lexi Erickson, I'm the treasurer for Evansville. And it would come out of the enterprise fund.
The entire amount.
Yes.
Okay.
And that would come to the amount of about 25,000 a year.
A year, yep.
For 20 years?
For 20 years.
For 20 years.
I feel as though we could get it paid off sooner.
If we were looking at just kind of an estimate, if we were going to look at getting it paid off sooner, what would that look like, just so the council has a visual of, are we thinking like half the time, 10
Yes.
years, or?
My goal would be 5 years.
Do we really think that'd be possible with the different cuts that are coming down each year from Cheyenne?
Those don't affect enterprise.
Okay.
Enterprise fund is self-sustained by the water, sewer, garbage.
And just to go back to that clarification, this would be the only loan that the town would have in its entirety. We don't have any other loans that are currently out there for other projects. We've been really, I wouldn't say lucky, but we've definitely been blessed with that.
Knock on wood.
I don't know, is this real wood?
It's close enough.
We've definitely been blessed with the fact that we haven't had to take any additional loans out at this point. And I do accept the sentiment that Mr. Porter has said, that the grants, the funding from grants just isn't out there at this moment in time for this project.
So you said that you've been working on this, you said around 12 years. Is it that just the grants haven't been there for 12 years, or has it been that the grants occasionally were there and council has turned them down? Can you
No,
give
it's
us
just,
more of a history on that?
there's really just, the MRG is really the only funding source for a water type project like this. So we did get the original project, when the project was originally put out, half of the funding, or part of the funding, was provided by the Wyoming Water Development Commission. But the problem is, the Wyoming Water Development Commission does not fund treatment. So anything that involves treatment, they will not fund. And so they covered, out of the first phase, they covered the water line to the site. And then the building itself, which there's a treatment process that has to occur. We have to treat Evansville or Casper's water, add chlorine to it before we can add to our system. So they consider that treatment. And the Water Development Commission will not fund treatment. So they were out of the original funding, and the project costs at that time were way, way higher than anticipated. I don't remember when that was, like 08, 09 even. I don't remember when that original project was, but the project costs were way high. We were only able to do a portion of the project, and then we've been trying to fund it ever since. When the ARPA funds came out through federal government a couple of years ago, the American Recovery Plan Act, we got funding there, but it was such a short time frame, we weren't able to meet all the requirements to get the job done. So that was only in that time frame, that was the only funding that came about that we were able to go after. So it just hasn't been a lot of opportunity out there to find funding for this type of project.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And we've invested a lot of money into it already, and it's not operational, so I think it'd be good to finish the project.
And it's a very important project.
Yes.
I mean, we talk all the time about the water treatment plant, and how it's, any small thing could happen. I mean, at different times they have a lot of redundancy at the treatment plant. But there are a lot of times when only one, they're working on one of the pumps, which means there's only one pump taking in water from the river. Well, if that pump goes down, the plant's down. Or there's 2 filter trains, there's 3 filter trains, but sometimes they're doing maintenance on one or the other. I mean, something catastrophic could happen where all of a sudden the town has no water. And this project, the town will be able to go up and essentially, a little more complicated than flipping a switch, but it's
Open the
essentially
valve.
flip
Yeah.
a switch and we've got water coming from Casper to supply the town. Until we've got the problem solved. So it's a very important project that we've
Now, does
been-
that go both ways? So
No.
if Casper goes down, they can get water from us if they
No.
need to?
No, it's just the one way and it could have been both ways, but Casper didn't want that. They have other redundancy in theirs and they didn't want a 2-way deal. So
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Any additional discussion, thoughts? Councilman Flustic, I heard you say that you were in an agreement that this is a good option. for us to go down?
Yes.
Okay, I
Yes.
just wanted to clarify that. I also equally think that if we're gonna take out a loan, this would be the type of project that we would take a loan out because I think about water treatment and I think about catastrophes that we don't even wanna start talking about. That I think that prevention is better, at least better to go down that route at this point.
And I will say, in this cost estimate, it's quite a bit higher than our previous cost estimate from a couple of years ago. I'm trying to be conservative. Hopefully bids come in and we're not borrowing that full amount. But we'll see. I've tried to be overly conservative on that number, just looking forward, so.
And I feel water is just a real essential service that we need to have redundancies for and,
Yeah.
it's just one of the basic levels of service we can provide our citizens, so.
Great.
So, Councilwoman, are you good?
I'm good.
Mr. Blackford?
I don't have any more to add.
Okay. Okay, so, Janelle, how would we confirm this motion, considering we had a whole lot of conversation?
Make a motion
process.
to approve engineer Porter and town treasurer Lexi Erickson to move forward with the necessary loan,
SRF loan application.
SRF loan application to finish out the emergency connection project.
Do I have a motion to approve the SRF loan application process with our town treasurer and our town engineer moving forward?
I move.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any additional discussion?
This is contingent upon our getting the grant and accepting the grant, correct?
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, the next item on my report is on the Evansville sidewalk project and we're calling it the 2025 sidewalk project. So we received bids on March 27th, 2025. Bids came in from Crown Construction, 71 Construction, and Ramshorn Construction. Ramshorn Construction's bid was determined to be non-responsive. They did not have 2 of the required items in their bid package, so we didn't even consider their bid because it was not complete. So with that, Crown Construction submitted the low bid of $715,955. The next lowest bidder was 71 Construction at $1,189,186.74. So our recommendation is to award Crown Construction the project for the base bid amount of $715,955.00. This project is 100% grant from the WCDA. The grant amount is roughly $960,000, so we're well within our limit for underneath the grant budget. So again, recommend award of the project to Crown Construction at $715,955. I would recommend a motion to have the mayor sign the notice of award notice to proceed and execute contracts with Crown Construction.
Do I have a motion to approve the notice award to Crown Construction for the sidewalk project?
I move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Porter, is there a 5% retainage on this as well?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, so the last thing I have is just a final drawdown request on the Lathrop Pathway project. They hit us up the other day that they do allow, the advertisement cost to be reimbursed. So we had kind of, I think I brought in draw request number 15 and said it would be final, but they said we could add the final advertising cost. So this is drawdown request number 16, should be the final drawdown request. It's in for the amount of $133.35. The grant covers 80%, so the actual drawdown request is $106.68. Leaves a balance on the grant of $84,395.66 that will be de-obligated and returned to the state for future funding. So recommend a motion for the mayor to sign and submit drawdown request number 16 on the Lathrop Pathway project.
Do I have a motion to approve drawdown request number 16 on the Lathrop pathway?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
That's all I got.
That's it.
Do I have a motion to approve the engineer's report?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Line item 8, executive session. WSS 16-40405, classified as confidential. Do I have a motion to go into executive session?
A motion?
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes to go into executive session at 8:10 p.m.